Hello. Now, longtime viewers may know that I own a car, you see, but a difficult thing has been starting to happen where it gets really cold and my car's outside, and so it's covered in ice every single day. And that kind of bums me out. Anyways, to the real topic, you have to stop living in fear. Every day that you live in fear is a day that you are controlled. Now, I'm gonna throw some ideas at you. Starting with a movie called Speak No Evil, the original Polish version. And if you don't know the movie, basically a couple goes to another couple's home and spends a couple days in a summer cabin in the woods. And then a bunch of terrible things happen to them, but they always have the opportunity to leave. And yet they never choose to do so. And so American audiences really didn't like that, so they made another one where they're less like, oh no, it's all right, in their Polish fashion. And, but in the original, nothing actually, physically violent happens to them. They're never, their lives are never threatened. They're just, weirdly, forced to do things that they wouldn't really like to do, but still do them anyways. And at the end of the movie, it gets really terrible, but there's this amazing quote. And, they're about to be, something absolutely horrific is about to happen. And the main guy is like, why are you doing this to us? Why us? Why are you doing this? And then the evil guy is like, because you let me. And that was so powerful for me. That blew me away. It blew my mind. And it made me realize that whenever you give someone power, it's your choice to give them that power. And now that I know this, I can choose to not give morally bankrupt people my power over me, right? And so it's all about choosing who has power over you and not letting them control you. And then on the flip side of things, we also have people who use fear to get power over you. And fear is very, very strong motivator because it's super, super innate. Evolutionarily, we need fear to survive. But nowadays, we're kind of chilling when there's not many tigers and bushes that we're jumping out at us that we're afraid of. It's more of the other people around us that we're afraid of. In the social situation, because if we're ostracized from the tribe, then we're basically dead. And we have to stay with the tribe. But there's kind of 8 billion tribes. And so there's not this really required need for this fear. But yet, we still have it. And if you let someone have power over you, or if you let them control you with fear, and it's a very difficult thing to overcome this fear. I didn't do it. Maybe you could, but sometimes you just have to leave. And fear is the strongest, most difficult thing to realize that you are being controlled by it. You really don't think about it that much. You're only thinking about survival, not the bigger picture of why are you trying to survive? What's making you act this way? And so using this fear to control you, once you realize that you are being controlled by fear within yourself, it's typically also because you are giving that person power. And you don't want to do that because if they're using it to benefit from you, or if it's just causing you to go insane, bonkers, crazy, off your rocker, losing your marbles, then that's not good. If you live with this paranoia and this fear, then you can't do anything to get out of it, because you're not thinking about the fear. You're thinking about, how do I survive? And you really need to realize that I need to get out of this situation of which I am afraid. Or you need to change your mentality and no longer fear the things that you were afraid of once. And that is very difficult. But if you can do that, then you can realize that, like, you are a very powerful person. You are very strong. And you can do amazing things once you're no longer living in fear. You can start laying the foundation to help others get out of this fear. I think a lot of people nowadays, certainly, are living in fear. And we shouldn't do that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I want others to not do that anymore. It's really important for me to spread this message because of how profound it was for me personally, and how incredible it is to escape, to not let people have that power over you, because you won't allow them to take that from you. You won't give them that power. You hold it for yourself. So you have to be picky with who you give power. And it's important to give some people power. That's how you build strong bonds, you know. And it's more of like, they have a stake in your mental. So whenever they say something or do something, it really means something to you. It's important to you, you know. And you have to choose that wisely. If you give it out willy-nilly, you'll shatter your heart, and hearts are not for shattering. They should stay, you know, complete and still have this sense of vulnerability and fragility, and not, you know, cold and damned. So it's, you know, important to stop living in fear. Anyways, toodles.